Fee, fee, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. These words from Jack and the Beanstalk have captivated generations, epitomizing our fascination with giants. From the Nephilim of biblical lore to the frost giants of Norse mythology, stories of enormous humanoid beings have permeated cultures worldwide for millennia. These colossal figures, often portrayed as both terrifying and awe-inspiring, have left an indelible mark on our collective imagination. The concept of giants, humanoid creatures of extraordinary size and strength, is a recurring theme in mythologies, religious texts, and folklore across the globe. But amidst the myriad tales and legends, a question persists. Did giants really exist on Earth? While scientific evidence for the existence of true giants is lacking, the prevalence of giant narratives in ancient cultures worldwide warrants deeper exploration. This discussion will delve into the rich tapestry of giant lore across civilizations, examine the scientific perspective on human size, and explore the psychological and cultural significance of these mythical beings. The presence of giants in the mythologies and folklore of diverse cultures is both fascinating and perplexing. From the earliest written records to oral traditions, giants have played significant roles in shaping cultural narratives and belief systems. In Mesopotamian myths, the Epic of Gilgamesh features the titular hero as a giant king, 2/3 god and 1/3 man. Greek and Roman mythology abounds with tales of giants, from the Gigantes who battled the Olympian gods to the Cyclopes encountered by Odysseus. Norse legends speak of the Jötnar, or frost giants, who are both ancestors and adversaries of the gods. Biblical accounts mention giants several times, most famously in the story of David and Goliath, and in references to the Nephilim. Native American folklore includes tales like the Sitikar, a race of red-haired giants in Paiute tradition. Asian mythologies feature giant-like beings, such as the Rakshasa in Hindu tales, while African folklore is rich with stories of formidable giant opponents for heroes to overcome. This diverse array of giant traditions across cultures demonstrates the universal appeal of these mythical beings. Whether as creators, destroyers, or challengers to be overcome, giants have played pivotal roles in how ancient civilizations understood and explained their world. While giants feature prominently in mythology and folklore, the search for physical evidence of their existence has yielded controversial and often disputed results. Over the years, there have been numerous claims of giant skeletal remains being unearthed. However, many of these have turned out to be hoaxes, like the infamous Cardiff giant, or misidentifications of animal remains. The sensationalism surrounding giant discoveries has often led to exaggeration and fabrication. While there is no evidence of giant humans, paleontologists have discovered extinct primate species that were indeed gigantic by modern standards. The most notable of these is Gigantopithecus blacki, an ape that lived in Southeast Asia between 9 million and 100,000 years ago. Estimates suggest that Gigantopithecus could have stood up to 3 meters, 10 feet tall. However, it's important to note that Gigantopithecus was not a human ancestor and became extinct long before the emergence of Homo sapiens. Human height has varied considerably throughout history due to genetic and environmental factors. Paleoanthropological evidence shows that our early human ancestors were generally shorter than modern humans. Over time, as diet improved and environmental pressures changed, human height gradually increased, though not linearly. In modern times, we have documented cases of individuals with extraordinary height due to medical conditions. Robert Wadlow, the tallest person in recorded history, reached a height of 2.72 meters, 8 feet 11.1 inches, due to hyperplasia of his pituitary gland. While impressive, even these extreme cases fall far short of the giants described in mythology. To understand why giants, as described in myths, couldn't exist, we must examine the scientific perspective on human size. This involves understanding the genetic, environmental, and biological factors that influence human growth, as well as the physical limitations on size in terrestrial animals. Human height is a complex trait influenced by multiple genes. Studies have identified hundreds of genetic variants that contribute to height, each with a small effect. Environmental factors, particularly nutrition, play a crucial role in determining whether an individual reaches their full genetic potential for height. Certain medical conditions can cause extreme growth, such as gigantism, acromegaly, and Marfan syndrome. However, even these conditions result in heights far below those described in giant myths. The reason we don't see humans, or other terrestrial animals, reaching the enormous sizes described in giant myths is rooted in fundamental principles of physics and biology. 1. Square cube law. As size increases, body mass grows faster than bone and muscle strength, eventually making the body unsupportable. 2. Circulatory system limitations. A larger body requires a proportionally larger heart, which becomes inefficient beyond a certain size. 3. Respiratory system constraints. Larger bodies require more oxygen, but the efficiency of the respiratory system doesn't scale up proportionally. 4. Heat dissipation. Larger bodies produce more heat, but have relatively less surface area for heat dissipation. These biological and physical constraints make the existence of human-like giants, as described in mythology, a physical impossibility. Given the lack of physical evidence for giants, we must turn to psychological and sociological explanations to understand why the concept of giants has been so pervasive across cultures and throughout history. Giants often embody the fear of the unknown and the other in human psychology. They can be seen as personifications of natural phenomena, such as mountains, storms, or the sea, which were often sources of fear and wonder for ancient peoples. From a sociological perspective, giant myths can reflect power dynamics within societies. The defeat of a giant by a smaller, cleverer hero, like David defeating Goliath, can represent the triumph of skill and intelligence over brute force, or the victory of a marginalized group over a dominant one. In the absence of scientific explanations, ancient cultures often used myths about giants to explain natural phenomena and unusual geological features. For example, the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland was explained as the work of the giant Finn McCool. The persistence of giant myths across cultures could be partially explained by the nature of collective memory and oral traditions. Stories tend to grow and change as they are passed down through generations. A tale of a particularly tall or strong individual could, over time, evolve into a story about a true giant. From a Jungian psychological perspective, giants can be seen as manifestations of archetypes, universal, archaic patterns and images that derive from the collective unconscious. Giants could represent several archetypes, such as the shadow, unknown aspects of ourselves, the Great Mother, nurturing or destructive aspects of nature, or play a role in the hero's journey. While scientific evidence does not support the existence of giants as described in ancient myths, their prevalence in human culture worldwide is undeniable. These stories have served various purposes, explaining natural phenomena, embodying cultural fears and aspirations, teaching moral lessons, and exploring the human condition. The enduring appeal of giant myths speaks to their power in capturing fundamental aspects of the human experience. They represent our awe at the natural world, our fears of the unknown, our desire to overcome great challenges, and our attempts to understand our place in the universe.